The world of gaming, the video game industry has lost a giant, a legend, in the name of Masayuki Uemara. Man, born 1942, just passed away just a few hours ago today on December 10th. It's very sad to hear this news. The man was in his 70s, that he lived a full life doing what he loved, and that was developing and working and making video games, more specifically consoles and machines for said video games to be played on. More importantly, for people who know him. For people who don't know, he worked for Nintendo. He was not only the engineer, but the architect for the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, and also known in Japan, the Famicom. He designed both the Famicom and the NES, and the Super Famicom and the Super Nintendo, or the SNES. He is, like, when you think of video games, what's the first thing you think of? You think Nintendo. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? The NES, right? Well, Masahiro, he's the creator. Masahiro, that's your guy. What more can we say about him? Like, he did everything. Like, he put the foundation, he built these consoles, and for generations to come, take a look at the generations that followed in suit. Look at for instance, Sega. Take a look at other consoles like the Neo Geo, there's so many things, like I said, Neo Geo, there's the Turbo Graphics. All of these consoles probably wouldn't have happened if the NES or the Famicom didn't do what it did. And obviously it wasn't just his doing. Nintendo president, Nintendo CEO, owners, they got together to really promote this. And what's great is they gave him this freedom to build the Famicom the way he wanted it, and then translate that and build the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES, the way he wanted it. And it turned out to be the most fond, memorable, one of the most popular consoles for generations to come. Like, take a look at this. You look at someone who's 40, 50, who grew up in that era, whether they were too old or they weren't, they remember it, they enjoy it. Someone who's in their 30s who grew up with it remembers it. Even someone like me, I come in the following generation after that, and I'm not an NES guy, I'll say that, but there are things about it that I do actually enjoy. Whether or not I like it or not, there are things there that just have joy. But I will say this: if I wasn't into the NES, I definitely was a Super Nintendo kid. Oh yes, I was. Most definitely, Super Nintendo was my jam. Now, you see where it worked? He knew how to take the NES and go and say, okay, how do we take this new console? Because we know at this point, a lot of these kids grown up and they don't care anymore. So how do we get these new kids, the 90s kids, to be interested? And what did he do? He did exactly that with the Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo, oh my god, what a console. I mean, seriously, it almost felt like having a lower grade arcade at home, which is really tough to do if you look at back in the days. Take a look at Atari, for instance. They didn't translate well from arcade to home console, but the Super Nintendo translated extremely well from arcade to console and console exclusives. The man was a genius. The man's a legend. His legacy will live on forever in the hearts of millions of gamers. I tip my hat to you, sir. Arigato gozaimasu. And forever rest in peace, knowing your legacy created this, and your legacy built millions behind you to follow in your footsteps, and millions of other companies to do what you did.